That sounds good.
Yeah, for the people who actually have all search now can just carry on pugging, I guess.
I mean, there are good bugs out there, right? Duffy
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff like that too.
Behind us.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta buy the mage
I will
blade if
keep
you want that.
the 60 alt topic open on the Discord though, so people can
Yeah,
post
do that.
And
if,
surely
That's good.
as well,
if
though.
they ever get one.
And surely as well,
Yeah.
though,
Also, if we get new players,
if we're having the problem
we
as we
can
had
always
yesterday.
change that further down the line if and see if we are capable of doing a split race. You don't need like 40 people in each raid.
No.
So
Well, surely as well as yesterday, for example, when it comes to the pre-situation, I know that Halen got an alt priest that's can get the benediction. Otherwise, are we just gonna try to sell that item for a random one?
I mean,
Those things we get else could get in my opinion, like
Yeah.
the
I
leaf
think
and
it's really-
the thing. If they don't need anything from the boss on their mains, then I don't see a problem in that at all.
No.
That's my opinion.
I agree.
Alright, so the people who actually hang alt is getting rewarded some kind in a way, actually getting invites for the loot that we don't need.
Yeah, if they
The
want that.
leftovers.
I mean, if there's no mains that need the loot,
Yeah.
well, we shouldn't waste it, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
no point.
I hope we get a rogue soon with the rogue all in the guild then.
Oh, for predictions or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't everyone the dagger rogue have it?
I think every dagger has it, yeah. But
I would actually level my rock if I get Perdition's Blade.
Crusader,
isn't
we
it
could
decent
get,
for warriors though?
No one else needs
Yeah,
it.
One
so
more
you can go
shield.
ahead.
It's a
one
good
more
offer.
shield from Rag as well, Crusader,
What?
and then you can come on your shaman.
Yeah.
Said one more
Oh,
shield
yeah.
from Rag,
Yeah.
then you
It's
can
actually
come on
true.
your
I'm on
shaman.
Major Dome, I haven't even seen any shaman loot yet. It's fucking horrible.
Has Helen got any loot?
Nope. I don't think so, at least.
Has any loot even dropped?
It has been really bad.
Next topic, maybe?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Give me a second. What's the next topic?
I have a last question to the recruitment part.
Sure.
Do we have an overview right now of how our roster looks like?
Yes, I've been trying to make a spreadsheet after actually all the people left, and therefore also if you all can sign up, by the way, in 2 weeks. I don't know if you actually can make it 100% that you actually can make it, but please sign up for the reason that we actually can see of what we're actually missing right now.
By the way, Benham,
Yes.
I removed your Onyxia post because you didn't set
You're a cool guy.
yeah, but you didn't set a date on it.
I did.
No.
No, that
Was
wasn't
that
good.
2nd December?
Yeah, it's Onyxia rates. I created them.
Okay, well, it's cool. Just sign up for the Onyxia rates.
Yeah.
Like,
But
yes.
for sure we will need shamans, and that we know.
Yeah, I can play. I
yes.
can surely play on my old character, meanwhile.
Yeah, but actually we don't need anything else from shamans. It's not like really.
But just then have a follow-up question. Now that Kaup is no longer in the guild, who will be like main tank?
That's gonna be another topic as well.
Okay.
Of how we actually can do that. We have been thinking about Grimt, or pretty much. He's really interested in starting the main tank, and then I'm looking for alternatives who is gonna off tank and such. But we have Tiger still in the guild, and we have recruited right before. I don't know, if like 3 days ago, a Mingan in the guild that's actually tanked in his previous guild. But when he got into the guild, we said that we didn't need any tanks, but I guess we do need now. What was gonna be?
Yeah.
And in worst case scenario, if it's just for a short period, I can tank. I have decent tank gear. No, I say it for a short period.
But also, like,
I mean,
speaking about a main tank, and this will probably just be another topic, so we can also wait with it. But kind of like make sure that they get a position as main tank, so they don't leave.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm not thinking about leaving anytime soon.
It's a cute
Depends on
boy.
what gear I get.
Yeah.
No, but no joke. I've looked over all my alternatives for me to be BIS threat, like main tank. I need 3 items.
Good.
So
And
it's
I think we
don't
talked
worry, guys.
with that as well on Grint.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it
that's gonna
comes
be
to
one of the
looting,
topics.
lootings and such as well, is like if it's not a really major, for example, on Corps on the ring on Last Ragnar's killed. If it's not a really major, if it's a really small upgrade for a tank, we are gonna still reconsider if we're actually gonna give it to the tank.
By the way, did you guys see the main tank from Onslaught? Like, he doesn't have a single dagger,
Really?
not a single one.
Yeah, they used the axes, double axes, the BOE axe, and because he's an orc.
And there's Candy.
Yeah, but you can compare Cow because he was to the troll. The orc tanks have the BOE axe.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. A real war.
I have been looking into that as well.
As long as you have
Here.
as long as you have good speed on your weapon and you have the 5 expertise or dagger skill or sword skill, whatever you want to call it, then it doesn't really matter which weapons you use, to be honest. As long as they have
It's good as fuck.
good speed. Yeah. As long as good speed, decent DPS, then no problem.
Yep.
Fucking hell. I added one more topic that wasn't in the announcement, but I wrote it up, but somehow I deleted it.
I have.
I'm trying to
I
remember
have
what topic that was. Fuck. But whatever. Maybe we'll figure out later on.
I have a topic as well. I created with Grimt
Okay.
some months ago.
Yeah, well, go ahead then. Me while I'm
Me and
thinking.
Grim, we were talking about especially when the release of Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
That we want to not give a rank where you could do a certain amount of things, but a rank for people who can create events on the Discord for PvP events. So people who actually can manage to pull off a good Battleground team. Some kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a PvP leader, but some people who can provide setup.
PvP
Teams.
organizer.
Yeah,
Pre-mates.
exactly. We are a PvP guild after all, and we have a lot of people who desire for the PvP, and
There's a lot of people
if-
that's actually
if-
waiting for the Battlegrounds right now.
if people could sign up for, okay, I'm gonna work all day, but tonight when I get home from work, I can join this squad, and we're gonna 10-man Battlegrounds for like 5 hours. I think a lot of people would like that. It is just a suggestion, so let me know.
I think that could be a good idea. Someone would
Sounds good, yeah.
organize that.
Yeah, but not
Absolutely,
just maybe just one
something we
person,
can
but some people.
I have a bunch of people who are. So
Yeah,
if someone
fine.
is not online, you can take another guy.
It's fine.
I don't think there should there like does it have to be like a PvP organized? I mean,
Like you don't need
if
to.
the guild is
use-
playing with together, the guild should be able to manage it by themselves to get.
But people play all around the clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah, that's
you,
My plan.
it's more so you can create events like the raid signups on the
Oh,
Discord,
yeah.
and then people can sign up. Okay, like 19th server clock tonight. We're gonna do boss and goals for like 4 hours. Who gonna come? Okay, this druid and those healers and this
For
fucking
me,
warrior.
anyway, that would make much more sense.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna PvP
I
with
would be able to attend much more battlegrounds with the guild if we did it like that in a bit structured way.
And we will win.
I will
like
live
4-0.
in Battlegrounds till I'm 14.
Yeah, same.
I mean, we could also do like this, that we just create a spreadsheet like for every day of the week. At the same time, like at 19 o'clock, and people just sign up, and people figure to okay, there's so many signs tonight, so we're gonna. But then it will be a problem if there's more than 10 people who signs.
Can we just make a second group then and then just puck the rest we need?
Yeah, you could. But it's just not the same thing.
No,
It's
but
like we will have
Gotta
map
do that at some point.
Yeah.
If you want to push, then you pretty much gotta have to at like the higher rank. Right now, and as soon as the battleground comes out, we're not high enough rank to actually need to probably make pre-mates, because we could even like there's gonna be so many people pocking. It'd be fucking easy to win, and you don't need that much honor. But as soon as you're gonna push above rank 11, you're gonna need pre-mates, and even probably having to pop, because there's not gonna be 10 guildies ready for battlegrounds 24/7.
Yeah.
Tough at least. So making a channel for that, or a spreadsheet even, it's not bad. Not bad idea.
I mean, it could also just be for events like Gurubashi Arena, something like that. People could sign for.
yeah, it
Whatever.
could also just be like, let's go and fuck Stormwind up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's
There's a lot of there's a lot of options.
I think it's a good idea.
I hope you were trolling about Stormwind, right?
The only thing about
Yeah,
that,
you don't want to go to
Yeah,
Stormwind.
fucking civilians.
That's dishonorable kills, dude.
I ain't going in there, man.
You guys
But-
afraid of that?
Yes.
because of the dishonorable kills.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but the only thing about that is we need some volunteers to kind of create this. I mean, we could do them for sure, but I think the guys who create the events should also be in the events.
But to be
Every
honest,
time.
I would say like anyone maybe can create that.
Yeah, but can you feel it like if it's like everyone can, it's like everyone's gonna wait for someone who's created.
Maybe that may happen, but it's like
Just so it ain't gonna be a dead thing.
But for example, if you come home 5 p.m. or whenever you come home, you say like, yeah, I'm gonna eat and shit and stuff, and I wanna go in 1 hour, and just you throw up that shit. You announce it pretty much that you have thrown up a sign up if you guys wanna go in 1 hour.
Was it?
No, but no, we can discuss that later, I guess, of how we actually it's gonna manage that. Surely I think it's a good idea.
Alright.
Alright.
I mean, it is also just a topic right now, so if anyone has any ideas to how it could work and how it should be done, please let us know.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of days to figure it out, right? When
Yeah.
do the BGs come out?
Exactly.
December 10th.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got a couple of days.
Alright, let's go to the new one. Oh, next one. Rankings. I know that a lot of people have different opinion about this as well. Yeah, I really don't know what to start. It comes a little bit with the recruitment as well as it kind of feels like a member right now. It's kind of like of a trial, and we don't really have a trial rank in some kind of way. It just feels like well, when we had the old guild, I would say the old guild for 2 days ago, of how we actually managed to give out all the loot. It was pretty much a problem that we only gave the raider ranks loot, and for some people, for example Bloggo, that has been here in a pretty long time, still hasn't got the raider rank, has still been here for, I don't know, 6 raids or so. It's gonna make it pretty unfair that he's not getting loot because of the reason he's not getting upgraded to rankings, and that is simplest because of the reason before it was because we upranked people too easy. So how do you guys want to do on that?
I just think you have to rehold the whole system. It's
Yeah,
kind of flawed.
Absolutely. How you guys want to do
I think shouldn't like everyone should have a chance of being rewarded, sure, but the people who like come prepared, they do a little bit more work, maybe perform better, should have like priority on better items, maybe.
I actually disagree that the
Indeed.
system is flawed. I think the only thing you need to do is rename member to trial, so there is no confusion. The raiders still should have priority over
Yeah, but
trials.
when are you supposed to get
Member could be like social.
when are you supposed to get rank raider? Because there's always different
So-
opinions how,
And what
Yeah,
makes you
but
get
the-
rank, like get ranked
Yeah.
up?
because we had
And do you always
because
your
to
rank?
be honest, even though Nutcream is my friend, like he pretty much for I think it was his 6th raid now, and he has been using Flask, he has been using every single consumable, but still though, when a Mage Blade comes and we had like more, for example, who just left the guild anyway with other people, he had freaking 2 months to actually get a raid rank, or and
You should
and
spend more than 2 months to get it.
yeah, and we prioritized him over someone who actually did this shit in a fucking week. For
Wait,
example,
did
Hayden.
More leave?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he
Yes.
leave
He was
like
part
an
of
hour
the
ago.
fence as well. He just waited.
He just got a Mage Blade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Sykes did yesterday, and he 2 days ago, and he left as well.
Oh,
So,
shit.
in my opinion, it felt like there's no set time for the trial. Like you guys invited people, they had member rank, and you had people on raider rank. But the members, they didn't have a time, like they didn't have a time period to pass the trial, right?
No.
So you didn't, when you got them in, you didn't say, I don't know if it was Corp that was in charge of this or whatever, but there was not like, oh, your trial period is 3 weeks, and after those 3 weeks, you get promoted, or it's 4 raids, right? Since we raid Tuesday and Wednesday, it's like,
Yeah.
it's a bit different that way, and not just weeks in, like for example, retail or whatever, where you raid a few times a week. So, some people were just promoted to raider, yet they didn't really put any time or effort in, and then you had people who were member and they were member for more than a month. Why should they not have a chance of getting loot as well? I'm not saying they should get the best fucking loot. I'm not saying they should get rewarded all the time, but dragging people through Molten Core 5 weeks in a row and not rewarding them with nothing seems a bit fucking cruel, in my opinion.
And when do you even give out the red rank if the guy shows up like and does his job well
But that's
every
why-
time and he stands out and every stands out? How many fucking weeks does he need to stand out for you guys to notice that hey, this guy's raider?
I think there should just be a set time for the guy to put out like time frame that when you recruit someone or we recruit someone, should be a time frame of how long the raid.
Yeah, and of course,
like
if he
trial is.
stops outperforming after stops performing after he gets raider, you can always demote him back. If he only did it, then you can notice also that he only did it so he stands out to you guys and he gets the rank.
Absolutely.
But isn't it also like what we need to fill the roster? Because let's say we are 38 people in the roster, we need 2 shamans.
Yes.
Then we should have both a trial, a member, and I actually don't know if we just need a member. If we should have a rank called social just, but we should have a trial rank definitely, and then a raider rank as I see it. And then the 2 guys that you want to try and get in to fill the last part of your roster should just, like you say, you should tell them like, we're gonna try you for 3 weeks, give them a fixed time, and if they, if you meet the requirements, then they should be promoted to raider after the 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I think 3 weeks is already enough time for actually to see if he fits in, if he performs well. I don't think. What's the point? What's the difference of like if the guy does it for 3 weeks? I guess you get to know him a little bit more and stuff like that, but
it should be a set
otherwise
time. It should not change.
Yeah.
Like if you do set it to a time.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
I agree with Kai as well that we should be very clear with when they're actually gonna get promoted. And
yeah, like 3 weeks is like good.
I mean, if you.
But it has to also be dependent on the roster you have.
Surely,
and what you actually
absolutely.
need. Because if it's surplus guys that you don't actually need, and suddenly we have 50 with raider ranks, and 50 people are signing up, then who are you not taking?
Yeah, then you have to start benching people, and then it's not gonna work.
Well, the main problem is actually like the dream scenario will be like everyone is gonna have 100% attendance, and we're gonna be 40 people that's gonna be raiding all the time. But everyone knows that's not the case. So how many actually people do we need within the guild, and how many people is gonna be having high attendance and all like that? There's always gonna be people that's pretty much gonna be a little bit pissed off getting benched of that reason.
Of course. It's hard to have a 40-man roster only, and
Yeah, well,
that's why you have to have more, right? And
if
it's
we
hard
had
to fill in
100%
everyone.
attendance, that would absolutely be.
Yeah, that will not happen, of course, but I think you should have a core roster that has prior on joining for raids with the core roster. And then you should have some kind of a rank of people that you can fill in case that, you know, someone cannot show up.
It's just really hard to find those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could all. Yeah, I know.
It's barely impossible. Everyone wanna join the raid and have the equal chance of loot. And I mean there should be some kind of rotation in it. But I mean like 45 people should be enough. So 5 people all the time. Who's
I
benched.
mean,
It's 1 in 8 raid you're benched.
I mean, do we need 40 people though? We're gonna see it that way. Do we need
Yeah,
40 people
I was
to? No,
about
to
to say.
raid Molten Core. No, we need when Black and Glare comes out, we need 40 people. But let's say we only have a 40-man roster and 35 show up next Tuesday. We clear that easy. Doesn't matter. We don't need the last 5.
That's gonna be fine for most of the raids in Classic.
Yeah, except next, right? But if we
Yeah.
make sure that all our raiders, all the 40 raiders, show up when a new raid comes out, and we, you know, for the first 2 or 3 times, then we're good, right? Because then we start actually for Black and Glare, we definitely don't need 40 people either. You can also do that with 35. Maybe the first week it would be nice, but the second week or the third week we can probably do with less than 40.
As soon as
So
you have
we
like the
could go with
tactics
that way.
down and everything, you should be fine.
Yeah. So we could actually go with the way that we just have a 40-man roster.
I agree with
In
that.
my
The only
opinion.
thing is, then we had. I see a problem if we're gonna do like split running next year. Then
20 on each? That's doable.
yeah, but that's if only all 40 people shows up.
True.
I mean, sure we could fix that if people have
Good
alts, we
talk.
can put them in like one of the
But
group.
we
could
cannot
talk.
say like we could.
Onyxia, we could talk though, like so you reserve like for example death, you know, like you reserve Deathbringer, like one run where you
Yeah,
take in the
We
warrior.
only
we-
need items, right? We
Do
only
we
need-
have people that are showing
and-
to Molten Core now, but not Onyxia?
But like the head is not something people want. So if people can, like the warrior for example, they can reserve Deathbringer for example, right? Or like we can make a raid where we reserve Deathbringer, and the rogue if they need Vizcake, we reserve Vizcake because. If I'm not mistaken, we do have pretty much everyone has a tier 2 helm by now. There are very few of the items that people need, and people are gonna join for those just to fill up. Like if we have 10 man, then fill up the last 10 with people that don't need those specific items, right?
I mean, we could just take mages, priestess, and druids. Then that's not fine.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. Like for example, with where we want the Deathbringer, right? And then in the other ones where people want like the offhand or the healer trinket, then we just put all our healers in there. Sure, we're gonna have to fucking fight over the trinket, but it doesn't go to random, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with passing.
So
the
for
trinket.
me, I would actually prefer just having a 40-man roster. That's just my opinion.
I think it's overall smoother to have a 40-man roster.
To be honest,
I agree.
we don't need that much gear from it next year at this point.
Yeah.
We could also just take one raid to next year every week.
Yeah,
and
of
just
course. Then you
make it fast.
It's also like a short reset as well. So
Yeah.
5-day reset, so you get to kill it a lot.
Yes.
We've already killed it a lot, so.
Oh, yeah, bag.
Yeah, some
Bag.
Bags.
Well, actually,
I mean, I
kinda
sure-
agree with
I-
Joe,
bags,
though, that's
okay.
really
Yeah, that's
good
true.
for PvP.
Heck is loot
No,
ban
so
for the
that's what I
next 2
said.
months.
But that's what I said before, Crusader. Like how it is actually easy as fuck to make a what's it called? A Onyxia puck. It is very, very easy, right? Reserve it. Make a puck, reserve it. Right?
Okay.
On the same day that we raid, just split up the raid if you want to. Like, if we have enough people,
But
split up the
to be
raid,
honest,
reserve
we
the
also
cloak.
have a shitloads of all characters, so I can go with that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
that's
my
It-
opinion, it
yeah,
would be
It
better.
all depends on though if we're gonna do it at the same time or if we're gonna do it after one another. Or
Oh, we could do it after
yeah,
each other
we
as well.
don't
We
even need to do it at the same day, really. I don't know.
doesn't even have to be on the Molten Core day either. Like it's just
Yeah.
yeah. It's one of those that it's also Onyxia's kind of easy to puck in general. Like join a puck if you. I don't know this.
It's not like it messes up the Molten Core schedule either, because
Yeah.
you can be PvP spec for it.
Whatever.
Alright?
Alright, so what did we actually come up with the rankings and recruitment? Like,
I think someone should shadow play it, by the way,
yeah, I'm
so we
already doing
remember
it,
what's
to be
being
honest, yeah. I'm already recruiting. I'm sorry, boys, if I didn't ask, but I wanna legit look through
I think
what
there
we're
was
talking
a
about, to be honest.
like a 3-week trial.
Yeah. Well, 2 to 3 week trial, and it's like,
Just tell people beforehand.
yeah, tell people beforehand, and I don't know if you're
Yeah.
getting a radar or
And then
or
evaluate
radar,
after
I
the
don't know.
time.
If we're gonna stick to a 40-man roster, it would, in my opinion, would be raid and trial rank. That's the only ranks you would need, right?
Yeah.
Maybe have a social rank if someone.
Has a friend or
Yeah,
something that
well,
wants
if
to
actually
join.
people wants to have a
That
social
works,
rank,
yeah.
they can't.
It could
They
also be.
know that they're
It
already
could
gonna
also
have
be guys who
50%.
just want to PvP a lot.
Yeah. If we actually know that someone is okay with having 50% attendance and being okay and being on the bench
And being benched
yeah.
if we need him to be benched, then yeah, 100%. I don't mind.
Fuck the social rank. Call it member.
Yeah, we can call it.
Member,
we can call it
sure.
member, absolutely. But
Yeah,
whatever.
social sounds so ridiculous.
Guys, we have a problem.
Nitty picky with the names.
Right.
I feel bullied right now.
So trial, member, raider rank. Those are the
Yeah.
3 ranks, and office.
I still see no reason for a member rank. Trial and raider is enough.
But if we have people who
It's just
are
confusing,
not-
I think.
if we have people that wants to be in the guild, play with us for PvP,
Yeah, for like BG, only plays
and-
like BGs and shit.
Then
I
we
just
can
wanna be a
create
member.
PvP rank or a social rank.
Yeah,
but we just move it that
Yeah,
we wanted to become
why not-
social.
why not
so
have
that's
it
why
there?
we said member.
Yeah.
Then call
Right.
it a PvP rank. Because
We can
member
call
will
it-
confuse people. Member confused people yesterday. People left because they thought they were members when in fact they were socials. Sorry, they were trials.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That will become a raider rank, that will become a trial rank, and that will become a member rank.
It's fine as long as we distinguish between the main core roster, the raids, and then
Yeah.
other guys.
Yeah, just put it in like the guild info. What it means. It should be fine.
So make things more fair, we can just open a trial rank and demote all the raiders to the
Yes.
so we can go build up from there.
I think. So is there like, do we have any like really new players?
We have
I
some
was gonna
warriors.
go with that as well. I don't
Shit.
think we actually
Like-
have that right now. A lot of people that's actually here has been in at least 4 raids, and I think I feel comfortable with having a single one that's actually in the guild right now.
No,
But
we have some people who only have attempted 1 raid.
yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say that we haven't raided with the new warrior and another warrior, so I can't say anything about that yet. But
Besides him, then it's everyone.
yeah, well, most of the
Okay.
people that's actually in the guild have been. We have like 3
We-
people within the guild that hasn't been raiding at all with us yet. We gotta try out somehow. Yep. Everything cool?
I think
Sounds
that's
cool.
a better way to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, loot council.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
the hardest question of them all, huh?
Maybe we should have started with this one first.
Yeah, well, I wanted
No,
to.
no.
I wanted to finish with this one pretty much because this is gonna be the hardest one.
Siros offered me yesterday to make a spreadsheet as long as I provided with him with all the information what gear people have, so we can actually make like so everyone, so we just know these people are gonna get this loot in that order.
Yeah, well, what does
If you
that
do-
help with actually giving out fairly to the people? I mean, we can set up.
Because then it doesn't depend on how much you have gotten this raid.
Right. What do you guys think about that?
So what are you suggesting is like we
So
tell you what we want to get?
Well, we pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
prepare
But
it
only
everything.
the biz items. I mean, there's the neck from the Ragnaros. It's totally the biz one, but that's also the one from I think it's Shasra or Gehenna, I can remember. A lot of people did on that one, and they not that we shouldn't give it to people, but the biz is the biz, and what order we give the biz. Okay, so the last one who's gonna get the biz is the first one who's gonna get the second biz one, if you kind of get it.
The
Yeah,
only
so
thing
Yeah.
the only thing I'm thinking by making a spreadsheet, let's say you're like 10 mages.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
guy, and you're all raiders, right? So the guy that is number 10 on the list for the ring or whatever Amon was talking about that hasn't even dropped yet.
Yeah.
Won't that create like the same situation as yesterday where you did an open loot council and people would just
He will be first in some other slots. Like for example the neck.
I guess we balance it
Okay,
out
then I-
somehow. I guess.
Yeah,
That
because
would be like
look at it this way. Look at it this way. I need 2 rings, but I have almost all the other loot, so I'm not even needing on the other loot. I mean, he is not gonna get the rings, but then again, we already have the Mana Igniting Court, for example. We already have, everyone has the Azure Song Mageblade, so yeah, he's not getting rings, but he's getting a Mana Igniting and Azure Song almost instantly.
Yeah, but it's not only for MC, it's just if we are gonna do
It was
this
an
and think
example.
like, yeah, I know, but thinking like long ahead when we start like W layer, and there's a lot of stuff that people want. It's not just the one thing that they need anymore.
Then people can put priority in which order they want each item. For
Yeah.
example,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want
That's what I
my
mean.
top priority would be trinket, my second priority will be want, etc.
So, like some guilds are running a system called Soft Reserve. If you haven't heard of it,
Never heard of.
Tell me
then
about it.
what you do is you put up the item that you want first. Like one item in Molten Core that you want. So let's say, for me, I want what's it called Wild Growth Shoulders, right? Like from Major Dom. Then I put that on my Soft Reserve, and then you want them as well. For example, you put up as well. But so now we're 2 that wants it, and so either you're the first who gets it, or I'm the second, right? And so you get it the first time they drop, and I get it the second time. And the same goes with the neck from the Ragnaros, right? Like Amonagla wants it, Binem wants it. One of them gets it first, and the other guy gets it second, right? Just as a list, like you said before as well. Pretty much the same thing, right? Like, but instead of you choosing what item they want, they choose themselves, right?
How do you cycle through that? Like, so when you've gotten one item, can you reserve a new one?
Yeah, but you go at the bottom of the list, right?
Yeah, so it's like round robin. Everybody gets to choose.
Yeah, it's pretty much round robin, right? Like, so you want Perdition Blade, but you want your Quant Tooth as well. So you just gotta choose which one do you want to soft reserve first. You soft reserve Perdition Blade, you get it, and then you want to soft reserve Quant Tooth next. Then you go at the bottom of the list for Quant Tooth.
I like that one.
Okay.
Then we all get items, and then I say like, but there's still got to be some different things. Like for example, for Resto Shaman, in my opinion, we should still gear one Shaman with tier 1, for example, for tank healing, right? Because that's gonna actually benefit the raid. But also all of those things like PvP items and quick strike ring and all these things that are not set items in general, those things in my opinion should be soft reserve.
I like the one, so you kind of have a system where you have a bunch of player, and the one of the top is the one who has prior to, and then whenever you get an item, you get to the bottom and have to start.
On the new item you want, yes.
Yeah.
That is a system that I wouldn't mind. I would actually like having that system.
How do you decide who gets the item first?
Yeah, that's what we gotta figure out as a guild. Like most guilds just had I don't know how they did it with the list, but I just know that people are running it this way.
Or?
Yes, just slash roll.
Maybe just roll, yeah.
Yeah, let the fucking coin decide. That's the most fair, I think.
It's like you do one roll and that decides like the entire list for
the
entire duration.
Yeah.
And then when someone else wants the item, they join in last, basically.
Yeah, they join in last. Yeah. It's like whoever is here since we're changing, like people use it from the start, right?
Yeah.
Or we could choose who starts at the top and so on. But I feel like it's more fair that.
That's more fun. It's random. Yeah.
Key, I assume you have it's in retail. You have seen this system.
It's actually people using it on Classic.
Okay, but is there any way you can, as like a program or a spreadsheet or anything, you can?
I think we just gotta put you make a spreadsheet. I can try and figure that out.
You can do an Excel, and you just put every item, and then you put like your name under.
Yeah.
If you do that, that would be very appreciated.
Absolutely.
Just have a question, just curiosity mainly. Is there someone who felt like the loot council didn't work?
A lot of people.
Yeah.
I've been very
we
clear that
we
like,
did
we always wanted to be like as far as possible, but well, clearly we
It's
failed.
hard.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
We have been trying with this system, but we can
Yeah.
say it failed
There was
completely.
some retard who gave a 18 slot back to the wrong person.
Yeah, you.
I actually ninja'd 2 of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was a bag, man. That's
Yeah, what
just
happened?
fucking
You
mad.
got
I don't
loot
care.
banned
But you
or
could
what?
also just consider, you know, having like a class lead. Also see
Absolutely.
guilds running with that.
Yeah.
I mean, a
Like,
class
that
leader
would
can
be,
keep track.
Yeah, exactly. So like AK, that would be you for the rogues, so you could keep track on which rogue got what. You know, and
So you can like
maybe one-
rotate the tier gear, or
Yeah, for example.
Yes.
Could do
And
that.
then the
And
same
also-
with the shamans and mages, and just pick one guy who's like been here for a long time, you know, does a lot for the guild, and he'll just be like a class lead for that class he plays as main.
yeah.
Can
As a
I be the
follow-up
class-
question,
Yeah, to be honest.
Can I be the class leader of druids?
your own little squad.
Oh,
But-
sorry, Tiger. It was not meant like that.
But that's a follow-up question actually for the round robin system. Do
Yeah.
you like soft reserve tier gear?
No, that's what like I think that should be outside of it, right? It's more the
Yeah.
other items, right? It's like the quick strike rings, precision blade, Kohan tooth.
Why? I
Blades.
mean, the beast list is the beast list.
No,
but
but
if
then
you
you
wanna
do like a
reserve-
round robin inside, like the, for example, all the rogues do a like round robin on their tier gear,
can
and
do
then you do a different round robin on like the other things.
Yeah, we can do it the way we want, right? We don't have to do it the way like like most people just have everything on the list. I just feel like here in some situation for some classes doesn't really matter too much, and I don't think people in general are gonna put a reserve on a tier. It
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
really make
Like
sense.
no one is gonna reserve tier.
Like that definitely doesn't make sense. If you want to reserve tier, I do not mind that at all.
Yeah.
But I don't think people are going to. That's more my point.
Yeah, and I think it's just like it makes sense to have it in a separate,
Yeah.
like a
But then,
separate round robin.
The one thing I'm thinking about, if you, for example, you know, if you have like 5 rogues and none of them are reserving tier gear,
No, but that's what.
who decides
That's where the
who
rogue.
gets
But
it?
we can have a rogue. That's where we can have the rogue class leader, or whatever you like. The one who, like, for example, if you want to have Ekif as the rogue, who keeps track of who gets the rogue item, he could keep track of that and make sure it's fair that everyone gets.
Yes, you like you don't
rewarded
reserve
fairly.
tier gear, but you reserve like the off pieces, right?
Yeah.
And the tier gear is distributed like by the officer or the class leader.
Yeah,
of,
fairly.
Yeah, the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely, as a shaman, I definitely would not mind that at all. Like,
I mean, I think it
I
just
think
makes
it's fair.
sense.
Yeah, because that actually does, you know, most of the tier pieces.
Yeah.
Are gonna benefit the raid as well. And then
Yeah, I mean-
everyone gets rewarded. It's like so, everyone
Yeah.
gets loot, right, even though you're at the bottom of a reserved item list.
Personally, I just like a system where you can, you know, that's not as rigid as this is. Because let's say, and I know we all friends here, but let's say that there are 2 rogues, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
one of the rogues has a Vizcak, and he would like to reserve the Brutality Blade, for example, for his offhand.
Yeah.
There is another rogue who needs both, but he already knows with the roster that we have that he's the only one that needs Vizcak. What if he rolls on Brutality Blade and you know what I'm getting to, right?
Yeah, no,
So,
that's because we're already in the fucking middle of a raid. Yeah, no, like people already have gear. I see your point, 100%.
It's
So
just like I just feel
we
like
would probably what we could do, in my opinion, is I should say let's say Rogue is using double the rent or Crawl Blade or something else, like you say, and he needs both. And all you guys who has Vizcak already but need Brutality Blade, we would just put him at like he can. Like, if he wants to reserve Brutality Blade, I see your point. That would be because he knows he's gonna get Vizcak. That would be that
I'm
would
just
not be
saying
fair for you guys, right?
that's maybe why I just see that, you know, one very trusted guy becomes some kind of you know, responsible for the loot council for a class. so he can make the decision on what's actually benefits the guild when we run. But he only has the responsibility for those people that are the same class as he is.
This issue works both ways though, because the guy who needs both Fiskag and Brutality, he would have the biggest upgrade from getting the Brutality. Say the Brutality drops and Fiskag doesn't drop for a couple of months, his damage goes up by a lot by getting that. The other rogues getting the Brutality for their offhand, it's not really a big upgrade.
Yeah, I see that as well.
Yeah, that's also true. But again, then if they reserved it and it's the top of the list, then I guess they would get it, even though it might not be the best for the guild.
Yeah.
But then we have to look into why do you reserve that one when it doesn't benefit you the most.
Yeah, I'm just saying that this I can see the system is working, but it's gonna require a very big effort of whoever is gonna maintain this list.
But I think
a lot of coordination.
But I think everyone should have it should be an open spreadsheet so everyone can look into it and be allowed to ask questions about it if they think something wrong.
Having it open, definitely.
Yeah.
Why did everyone ignore my guild message? What the fuck? I actually spent time thinking about it.
Nice.
I feel like
yeah, it was just my how I saw it anyway.
It's an example. Obviously, you have the neck.
Yeah.
Everything can be neck. It can be trinket. Doesn't matter. It's an example.
Yeah. And it should also be like that.
Yeah, that's.
But that's also how it's gonna be.
Okay, never mind.
But I mean, we're not just reserving one item. We're saying everything we need to get in it, what order we want to get it, so how much we prioritize, and then we just get it all. Sorry, fighting. Then we just make a sheet where everyone's choices are taken under consideration.
Yeah, I took a print screen after your message.
I feel like it's gonna be like a lot of choices.
Yeah.
When you have 40 people with 3 different choices.
Like, that's the
Keep
idea.
in mind that classic isn't fair. It isn't fair how loot is distributed.
I mean,
it make everything super fair.
Yeah, it probably would be 100% fair all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Probably won't be, but it will be a good joke in the right direction.
I agree.
But it's just like if you look at the loose council and just see, for example, for the rogues, some of the guys who've been here the longest time is myself and Ra and Eke, for example. We all like pretty, equally geared.
Yeah, it's the same with the mages that has been here all the time. Like me, I'm only super guy. We always.
So I don't actually see it as a problem that you have a guy calling out the distribution of loot for different class.
I mean, I think it works for tier gear, but when it comes to like items that everyone needs, like that multiple classes,
like the raid.
But it could also be then like if it's, for example, a perdition blade or something, an item like that. Then if you have like 2 guys who wants it, you can also just do a roll.
Yeah.
I know it's still random, but so is the sheet, and it will require a lot less coordination. And you could just check mark in the sheet. This guy got this.
We could, but if you roll for it, then the possibility is that the same guy win 5 times in a row or another guy.
He would not be allowed, of course. That's why we need the guy who's the class leader.
Keeping track on it.
If you got this one item, then of course you wouldn't be allowed to roll the next time. So a guy keeping track on what is kind of like fair. And I'm not saying I'm against the sheet. I'm just saying like it just takes so much time maintaining this list, and creating this overview.
Yeah, Watch His Blessing is gonna be popped now if you want to have it.
So, so you would actually want to have a class leader or whatever who keeps track of the items for rogue, for example. But what about the off items that all other people might need, like for example mages and warlocks as well, that are needing the same item?
That's why I think I like the idea that we had first with the spreadsheet, and you reserve like one item that is offset, but then you do then you do round robin inside like the class,
or like the tier gear, and we have a guy for each class doing that.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. Yeah,
that makes it a lot easier. So
a guy from each class that is doing that. What do you mean? Sorry.
So you have for example, one class leader, right, for every class.
Yeah.
And that class leader keeps track of like the tier gear that people of the class have, and make sure that it's distributed like fairly.
Yeah. But if, for example, take this Ring of Acuria or whatever that both warriors and rogues wants.
Hunters as well.
Yeah. That's when you use the spreadsheet. So that's when you use like the reserve thing.
Yeah. Okay. Like that.
Yeah. So you only reserve like the off pieces, so like trinkets, rings, weapons, and yes, cloak and wrist. Not actually wrist. Yeah. Like the off piece sets stuff.
I just want to pitch in an idea here. Whatever you guys decides to do, I think most of the stuff you guys have said, I agree with, and it's pretty good. But I don't think you should make any decisions without asking the guild, because I don't think even half the guild is actually talking in this meeting.
Absolutely.
So I would like to maybe put out a poll or something, and then put out different examples of loot councils or loot distributions with the spreadsheet or not. I would also pitch in another idea, which would be a loot council with rotating members. I used it before, and I think it's like almost the fairest you can be if it is handled correctly. So I will explain it quickly. So basically, we have one guy who's an officer who's like controlling the loot council. He's not deciding in a loot; he's just controlling it. And then you have 3 random raiders who's in the loot council who decides and votes for loot. So basically, if a brutality blade drops, you have like I vote for Eke, and another guy says no, Eke has been performing really bad this raid. I vote for Finder or something. Then you have a discussion, and there's 3 people in this group, so there will always be one result, right? Because you can't really decide, even. So
I get what you say with this. The problem for me with this is the amount of time it takes.
Yeah,
Not
for
only
sure.
that, a lot of the people can't really decide. I mean, when you have 3 or 4 officers on the loot council, then you need to have 3 or 4 people who keep track of everything.
There would not be any officers in that loot council.
This is what I'm saying. When you have 3 or 4 people, 3 or 4 officers in the loot council, they're keeping track of the guild because it's part of their job.
Yeah.
But in your way, you need 40 people to keep track of everything in a guild, so
don't.
they can make adequate decisions.
What do you mean by performing? Like, how can you check if he's performing during the raid other than DPS, and other stuff that you can see from details?
You have one controller, and the controller would say, like, for example, these 2 last raids, Eke has performing top DPS, and he has not died any times. Finder has died 2 times and has performed top 10 DPS or something. It doesn't have to be performance like that. Just an example. It could be like he hasn't attended the Onyxia raid. He hasn't done blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Those rules is another problem. The thing is, you have the controller. He's just telling the people, like, these are the facts. Now you decide. That person is responsible for talking with every class leaders, per se. Like, you can just, like, say, Ecker, pro class leader. I talk with him, and he gives me the fact, like, today, Braden has performed really well. He should probably get some loot. And then I ask the warrior. He says, warrior class leader says, Milosh, he's performed really good as well. And then we have brutality blade drop, and then I have 2 facts. And then I do that to the loot council. I tell them both things. And then they have to decide. It's a tough choice, of course. But then it's the most fair because everyone is going to decide. So everyone sees the process and nothing is hidden because everyone is in the loot council to say, I don't know. I'm not saying we should have this. I'm saying it's an option.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the ideas.
Yeah, having
I
poll
order for my recordings actually. How actually you mean so I'm gonna write that down. But absolutely, it's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. Not something I'm a fan of, but it's I think, as you said to the start, that we should have a vote about and see what people actually think as well about all these.
Exactly. Yeah.
New.
That's the most important thing. Like, if everyone agrees with having spreadsheet, then obviously we have the spreadsheet.
I personally don't like that idea, and I'll tell you why right now. I don't feel qualified to decide between 2 hunters who should take what. I can do it for mages. I can probably do it for rogues as well. I can't do it for hunters. I can't do it for priests.
Yeah, but that's what he just explained. You wouldn't make.
I know, but
You're making
it's
the
still my
decision, but
decision is
someone
not
else.
adequate.
Yeah, but someone else is giving you the information, and it's not complicated information, right?
And if you can't decide, if it's like really even, you don't really know, then just say, "Oh, roll." We can't decide, just roll.
Yeah.
Then you have done your most. You know, you can't do any more.
Yeah, I definitely.
It's like what
Like,
I
yeah,
want
the
to
roll-
do constantly.
Yeah. Well.
No, I'm just. I don't know what I mean.
Bring the DKP back. And force every player if the boss drop his items, so they should be spent their DKP. So
I feel like DKP is just an outdated.
I don't like
It's kind of flawed.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, we had EPGP in Molten Snow, and I think it worked well, but then it was retarded because if you missed a raid, for example, I missed a raid because I had to I went to see my mom, so I missed one Onyxian Molten Core, and I was literally like left behind, so there's no way I would get like priority on fucking Mage Blade anymore, even though I wanted it first. So it like fucked me over, but...
Well, with that add-on, I think it's like it goes both ways. So you can have it like.
I mean, it was fair,
purely.
but then we had like fucking huge mafias, like people fucking not zipping their fucking priority until Mage Blade drop.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, you need to force them to spend their DKP.
Yeah,
It's
I mean they did lose on their points on the DK because they had unused EP. They lost 10% of it every week, even though they didn't use any. So there was actually a penalty for them as well, but then again they were just waiting for the one item.
There are softer versions for that add-on though. There is like one you just give attendance and then 1 gear point. So if you attend one raid, you get 1 point. If you get 1 loot, you get 1 point. So then you have 1-1.
Yeah, we
then
had
you
like
can choose that
we
in a
had
loot.
like pricings for everything, and the pricings were like we fixed everything ourselves. It was a little bit of work, but
Yeah, but that's the one where you wait like a brutality raid is like 200 points or something, right?
no, we had it like, is it like, I don't know. I think it was like 1.5k, basically the same than Mage Blade.
Oh yeah, but you weight the items accordingly, like differently, depending on what it is, like right?
Yeah.
That's the add-on.
Remove your mic a little.
Yeah, of course. Like let's say like Caster Bis, Mage Blade, and then like Warrior Bis were the same price.
Yeah, exactly.
In the weapons. But we actually it took us like at least 3 weeks to get it working correct. So we had a lot of fucking floods in this, like mistakes at the start, people getting them cheaper than in the end. But I think right now it's working for them. But I don't know if it's the right. I mean, it's fair, but you know, because you get to choose where you use your points. But I don't really know if that's the way to go. I don't.
There is a soft version of that, which I kind of like, which is like you only get 1 point per gear, so it doesn't really matter what gear it is. So it's
and it awards at the attendance. That's what I like.
Yeah, that part, because then you don't really. It doesn't matter what gear you get. You just if a loot council sees that number, you can see like he has attended 2 raids and has 10 epics. That's pretty bad. He doesn't really need more gear, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe we should give it to the other guy who has like 1 and 2 instead, something like that. I like that instead because that's kind of it's kind of fair, but you shouldn't really like only go on that. But
yeah.
For me personally, yes, I still prefer the loot council.
I think me too, because it's so much work. Like if you actually wanna like how you said it, like getting 1 point and then like. Yeah, it's much simpler that way because when we had high numbers for everything, it needed fixing every fucking week at the start. Like had to like tune points and shit.
I'm one of the people who think that Wood Council was fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
I also
people were saying that people didn't like how it worked, but it's always someone else didn't like how it worked.
Yeah, of course, there's gonna be like different opinions because they like.
I mean, how many of us actually didn't like how the Wood Council worked? Because I think it worked fine.
I liked it, but I just didn't like the open fucking talk every like like after every raid and then people getting mad and leaving. It should have been just quiet conversation between the loot council and bam, the fucking item is getting traded to you or not.
To be honest, as I
if you listen to 35 guys different opinions, you're not gonna get nowhere.
But people actually, I know that people left the past 2 days, but in general, when we have done loot council, we haven't seen people leaving.
Yeah. Last two, like the only MCs I've been doing with you guys is people fucking
but it's
jumping off the window after.
We haven't been starting people leaving at all pretty much until this point, I would say, because we had 3 people leave at the same time because they were friends, and we had 8 people leave at the same time because they were friends.
I understand, like the problem wasn't this raid, it's just like it's been going on for a while, and then they,
I have a quick thing on that. It's like every time a loot was given out though, there was always someone complaining.
Yeah, so and then the shit grows up, and then it's gonna explode, So it basically exploded now the last 2 times. People got fed up.
Every time someone complained about loot being given out by the loot council, on the race that I was on.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. There's a lot of people like complaining behind the scene.
Cup was right in that regard. That the loot council takes a decision, because we're just a 40-man roster and we're gonna raid for so many raids together. Then I think that that should just be like, this is the decision. You just have to accept this. If you then have a class lead who somehow will keep track on what you have gotten, then eventually that curve will flatten out, and it will be in their mind for the next raid. So this guy maybe got 2 epics, and this time around or whatever, and then the next raid he's not gonna get anything because he got 2 items last time.
I will add something to that, Raider. And I think you're like trusting us, but I know for sure we did make mistakes. And I think actually with the soft reserve queue system, we could prevent those mistakes from happening.
If you think that, yeah, maybe. But
I think that we should definitely have a vote about. So we should have we should have people vote on. Some people still want to keep loot council, so that's one.
I think what DBA said is pretty clear as well. We own half of the people here as well, so we shouldn't have taken a decision when
you just write it down.
Because I'm not against loot council either. Really, I just felt like it was being done wrong. In general, I'm not against loot council, but I felt it was being done wrong in this skill.
It should be quiet. Actually, I love the fact that they are explaining their reasoning, but a lot of people are not mature enough to handle it.
Yeah, so I think it should be closed as well.
Yeah, if we could do a loot council, it has to be closed.
So we just keep it as it is. I just take cops.
I don't think we should. I still think we should have a vote about it, but because I'm.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I still think we're changing things in the guild in general, right?
Yep.
Why not be one of those things? Well, see if people are happy with the loot council. We're not the only ones that are in the guild, right? Ask people if they're happy with it as well, and then we see what people say in general.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
The only problem about asking 40 people, it's like you have a democracy.
Yeah.
You always have different opinions.
Oh, sure, definitely.
And even though we do a straw poll and like 70% they vote for one solution, there can still be 10% who says, yeah, that might be the case you vote for, but this is not a country where I have to live in, so I'll just leave.
Oh, of course.
So, no matter what you do, you can never satisfy everyone. So I think we should just pick something that you believe in as officers, and that's just how it's gonna be.
Yeah, stick to it, and if they wanna leave, they leave. That's how as it is. You can't like.
Take some time now when we shake the bag like this to actually get everyone, in line again with this. But we should just choose a direction and just stick to that. Every time we open everything up for
discussion. What happens if you pick something that the majority don't like at all?
Absolutely, I was gonna come into that. Firstly, I think we should have a poll about it, and then after the poll, we officers decide of what result we get from the poll, pretty much, and we go.
Yeah, that's also fine.
And then you stick with that result.
Yeah, that's also fine.
And then if people want to leave after that, they can leave.
But the thing you said about class leader and talking to people with like their class about loot and stuff, I think it's a good idea regardless of whatever system you have.
Yeah, I see a lot of guilds out there that are doing it.
Because another thing, if you're a loot council and there's 40 people you have to keep track of, and you can't make a perfect decision every fucking time.
Definitely.
But if you have a class leader who helps the loot count, so it's like this guy's been showing up and doing well, and he hasn't had loot for fucking 3 weeks. You know, they get some input to make better decisions.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, keeping track of it is definitely good.
Because you can't 3 people keeping track of all this, keeping 40 people happy. You need some help.
And in that regard, you could say that the class leaders would just make the decision when it comes to tier gear or just like class-specific gear that are based for one class only. But when it comes to these items that a lot of mixed classes want, then you should have like a centered loot council that would take input from these class leaders, but they would make the decision regardless.
Yeah,
like 3 officers or whatever.
I have an input. We're gonna give Grimt pretty much what he wants.
I don't mind. I don't give a fuck.
But listen. As long as he used some common sense, if like the ring yesterday, not yesterday, 2 days
Just
ago.
don't become a goblin.
Just don't give him three. Don't give him 3 epic daggers with other people sitting with blue.
Pretty easy to fucking say.
Sorry.
Absolutely, we're gonna prioritize a fucking tank, but
Yeah.
it comes to a fucking limit. Like
when he outgears everyone else by a mile. Like,
Well, to be honest, we reached the limit. He has everything.
That's actually true. That's actually true.
For those who didn't know, he was actually the most geared player
in the world.
Player in the world, not in the server, not in Europe, in the world.
Wonder how much money I can get from that account.
I just have one comment as
He
I
was
started
the
out
most
with
geared
the main
player
tank.
in the world.
I'm fine with the main tank getting, you know, prio on gear above other ones because you need to have a very good main tank. But that main tank kind of needs to be like a center part of the guild. If we're gonna give him bindings and shit like that for Thunder Fury, we better make sure that he's a damn officer or something like that, so he's actually not just leaving.
Well, so it should be Grim.
Grim, do you wanna be
Yeah,
officer? No,
No, but
yeah,
you
absolutely. I
understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying, right? It should not
absolutely,
just be a raider or a member or whatever. It should be someone who's core in the guild.
yeah, someone who's trusted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, someone like Kai.
And I've heard
Well,
rumors that Kai wants the tank as a shaman.
Seems like I'm gonna roll a warrior then.
What? Shaman tank? What?
I can soul link
easy.
tank, okay? Let's go.
No, but you get my point. but-
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Definitely.
I mean, Grim, where do you live?
Sweden.
Yeah, I know it's Sweden, but where in Sweden?
In Sweden.
Yeah,
Your
fuck's sake.
personal number, your address.
Everything.
To know everything about you.
Nah, if you fuck us up, we'll just come and kill you.
Uh-oh.
Man.
Harsh.
Cobb is actually my dad, if you didn't
That's very unfortunate for you, though.
No.
But I'm prepared to make investments to be a main tech. That's why I played Classic in the first place.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Make investments?
I mean, he's the only one who has Annihilator, right? That's something.
And has Gladiator Chain, right?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, not the only one, but.
Even Cobb
It's
has it.
investments in terms of not only gold but also time. It's all the way around because if we're gonna gear someone with Thunder Fury now, we better it has to be a person like that knows that he wants to play through phase 6.
Yeah.
If that's what we want to do in the guild.
Of course.
That's me.
That's great.
I don't know where. That's my plan. I plan to play this fucking game. I waited for this game for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Oh, you waited 2 years.
No, 3.
No.
XD.
We all waited 2 years.
But
I
this
didn't play-
is
I'm
exactly
pretty
the
young,
reason
so I
why a
didn't play
main tank
Classic
is often like Guildmaster or something like that.
Say that again, sorry?
This is exactly the reason why a main tank in a guild is often like a Guildmaster or an officer or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I see your concern. The thing is just none of us is playing a warrior.
Oh, Cobb was a guild leader.
Yeah. Fuck
Yeah,
him.
he was.
Officer.
Was he really though?
He was on paper.
What is required of the officer role?
Well, that's
Good question.
Role, I think.
And we're
When-
gonna discuss as well of people who actually potentially want to actually be an officer and what we actually want from an officer and all that. We gotta talk about.
I'm just saying that whoever is going to be main tank should also be an officer, in my opinion.
And I actually agree with that, but
Makes sense.
You know, it goes together in my head.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just that if we like Grimt, we have to figure that.
But yeah, we have to figure out who we're gonna make a main tank. But it goes together in my head anyway. That's my opinion.
Writing that down. No, you are recording the conversation.
Are you NSA? What the fuck? Why am I being recorded without my consent?
Did anyone see what Sarah's write in the chat?
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm back.
Seriously, you're always going to be a minority. It's just how it is.
Yeah. You can use the smuggle.
What?
Serious know what it is.
Is that the straw pool where you make me wood council?
Yeah, I made a straw poll. I'm actually not gonna vote. I just will go see the results. There's no one who voted yet.
No, not yet.
Fuck you.
I wanna listen through everything first.
It is like the fourth option in this because I think actually what I would prefer is a mix of what we have now integrated with these class leaders, like Dra is saying. So we have a main loot council when it comes to these items that a lot of different classes can use, but then you also have the class leaders who can both support with information and to help make a good decision, and they will just take the decision when tier gear or class specific items drops. That would, so a mix between 4 and 1 would be my preferred.
Can you vote 2 times? I don't know.
What? Vote 2
If
times?
you can. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the system. You can vote two loot systems.
Huh?
Yeah, I can. But
I mean,
yeah.
wouldn't if we keep the loot council the way it is, wouldn't it just be we could have 5 in the loot council, right?
We could have all the people we want actually. But,
Yeah, but if we have 5, then we could have healer, tank, melee DPS, caster. Well, tank, I guess, doesn't really matter if he's gonna get whatever he wants, pretty much. But
50, 25, 25 on a poll. This is impossible, guys.
Who wants to come roleplay with me in
so
Ogrimmar?
the class leaders are actually in the loot council. But I don't know. I definitely like the idea with the with still having the loot council, but having class leaders. That's actually a really good idea.
I think
yeah,
so.
I like that.
I like that.
I think it's gonna equal to what DBE said as well, in some way.
No,
It's
there
like-
you have. Bit, yeah, it is a bit.
Sort of a middle ground, I guess.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm just not a fan of having people like few new people in every time, and the guy who keeps fucking, the guy who's like the lead of the loot council, just gonna have to do so much work. I feel like.
We could do a bit mix. I mean, we could expand the loot council. Maybe add 2 new members and maybe have 4 or 5 that's always the same and 2 new ones. Because the amount of votes is low right now, as it is. Goes kind of.
Give it some time so people can vote.
Yeah, definitely.
Just put it up.
Yeah, I did put it up.
Yeah,
And
we
people
only
can
got
vote.
7 votes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, give it a couple of minutes at least, or like a couple of hours or a day or so.
Yeah. We're not gonna take it today.
Yeah. And see what people vote for.
Yeah, I'm not gonna vote for it. I will take what people in the guild thinks. But
you should put your own opinion in there, yeah.
Yeah, if you have one. Well,
Yeah.
I do have an opinion.
Yeah.
I have one too, but you don't want to hear it.
Do you want everything?
No.
Okay. Then I think I can hear it.
Hello?
Aren't you missing an option? Or like loot council with new loot council people?
We spread the loot in the
Yeah,
raid.
no,
Like,
I
let's
can
say
do
mage
that.
loot drops, we give it to a hunter, and then the mage gets hunter loot, and then they can trade in the raid, you know? One for one.
What? We could use like a GDKP as well. We can gold bid for everything.
Yeah, I was about to say, just go bid everything. Fuck it.
Yeah, let's say the hunter
wonder
gets
farms
mage blade, and then he gets to choose what item he wants from the others.
Huh? Wait, so you give the hunter a random mage fleet, and then he gets to choose?
Yeah, then he gets to choose which
What?
one has his hunter
What?
gear, and gives the mage blade to him, you know?
Gonna be so corrupt. Somebody's just gonna spam every single hunter
But
in the fucking
who decides
group.
who gets the first item, though?
So people trade items with each other. So hunters get
You
mage
give
items,
caster
and
items
mage
to
get a hunter item. and they
warriors,
need to
and
trade.
then like warriors
What?
get fucking caster items, and then they have to make deals, you know?
Stupid.
I actually like that. That sounds fun.
Definitely.
Or
but,
just fucking gold bid everything.
Add that options to the pool. I wanna bought that.
And of course, my backpack always has room because I only carry 2 soul shards every time.
Alright, should we move on? I think we got some options now to discuss about.
Yeah.
Officers. This is pretty much the... And I don't know actually of how we actually gonna talk about this topic. I mean...
Stop running away, Benem.
Oh. I mean... I guess we...
Bribing banana.
I guess we somehow get to know the people who are actually interested in the role as being an officer, and I guess we can take it from there. But I don't know if we're actually gonna decide if they're actually gonna be officer or not. If there's gonna be a guild master or whatever, of how we're actually gonna decide who the new officers is gonna be. What do you guys think?
Well, to me, as I said, the main tank we're gonna choose should be an officer, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If Grimmed is up for that.
Then it's the question
exactly.
how many officers you want.
I would say it's like a good number is 4 to 5, perhaps around
Yeah,
that.
that's fine with me. That's nice.
Yes.
Just like to be an officer then, without having to do any of the planning or all of this.
Well, there's different, like what we have been doing when we have been officers. We have been having different parts of what we actually have been responsible with. For example, Carl were responsible with all the recruitment and all that.
But that's a big part as well.
Absolutely. And surely we can. We need a new guy that's responsible for the recruitment, guys. I don't want to do it. I don't know who's want to do it.
I can recruit people. The thing is, I just I don't speak English that good. So
it can be
well,
I mean,
just put.
It's just so people don't think we are retarded when they're starting to talk with me first.
But it's like
can have
I don't know.
Can have more than one guy do it, right?
Yeah, the main concern here
depends
is
on what, like
who
how we want to
decides
do it
who
as well.
actually gonna be officers. I don't know. Are we gonna decide a GM first and vote for it?
I think you should have a GM.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's my opinion.
GM is like.
Someone who makes like the final decision.
I think a lot of people agrees with that.
Yeah.
We should have.
Yeah, I think you should have GM when it goes to that. Like, let's say there's so many different opinions and we don't know what to do. You're the last guy who fucking rests the case.
You just make the call.
Yeah.
The GM.
Like when there's hard shit, like, you know, your call is the last call.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that fully.
And everybody has to be behind it.
Venom for GM.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, I guess you also have the guild bank, Venom, so I think it would be...
He took the clam back.
I mean, he already has the GM.
Oh,
on his own.
exactly.
Oh my
That's
god,
his
yeah,
old.
well, I don't mind passing it away.
Venom for GM.
Yeah, why not?
Decided.
it makes the most sense. But yeah, like maybe someone else wants to roll.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that later, I guess. I'm like I can take the responsibility for sure to be it. I don't mind that, but I still think it should be a fair for everyone else.
Actually, I think Ines should be GM because he created the tablet.
That is actually true.
But who
It
created
always
the
looks
guild
like shit.
dignity?
So.
Well, he credited on my character, so I did it, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how you want it?
It was
Then it's
Finesse
pretty
who
good.
did it.
Whoever created dignity is the GM.
No,
Who came up with the idea dignity?
I guess that was me.
But I don't.
Gathered you
yeah.
all.
I mean, I always just thought you were the GM from the beginning, anyways. But so I don't know.
Yeah, me too, because you had the guild bank.
Well. Whatever.
Let's start playing Game of Thrones, boys. Anything else?
Who wants to be officers as well? I think.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big thing, right?
Like,
it is.
For sure, I don't want to be an officer. I can already say that now because I'm happy just attending raids and attending events and just chilling out like that.
Yeah, being a good member, in other words.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that as well. Like, I don't want to be an officer.
Yep.
I've said it to him before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I wanted to let you say that yourself, but.
yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, it's not something I really enjoy that much.
Because when you have the officer title, you're gonna get those whispers.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take discussions.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you gotta deal with.
Yeah, all those small things that you're not thinking about will come when you're an officer.
Yeah.
So people will ask some random member or raider like, yo, who's the officer of dignity? Where should I apply? And you give them a name, and then you have to spend like a half an hour to do that. That's just the life when you're an officer, I would say. So it's accepting more responsibility, of course.
Definitely.
But I know I don't want that, so I don't want to be an officer.
Well.
Moobot, do you still want to be officer though?
Yeah.
Like, and are people fine with him being an officer, right? Like.
No.
No. Like, correct me as well. I think DB wanted to be an officer as well.
DB wants, have been proposed that he actually can think about being an officer as well. Also, I've been talking with Dope about wanting to be an officer. Moobet still wants to be an officer. Yes, I'm just taking proportions of actually, firstly, people who wants to be an officer. Of course, I don't want to approach people that doesn't want to be it. It just makes no sense.
No, definitely.
Guy for president.
Then as well, like maybe you don't make all of them officers. But maybe you make like some of them officers. Maybe you make some of them class leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. And
put Guy under the desk. Give him the paperwork.
For example, Kai as well. I know that I would like to prefer to have you as a raid leader because I know Eki doesn't want to be that as well.
Yeah, as I said,
I like Eki as a raid leader.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do it. So.
Yeah. If Eki doesn't want to do it, then
I mean, I'm fine with helping out if it's needed. But
I mean, if you still want to do, we can, both do it. It's no problem. Like, have you like if you still want to be calling and in general, then yeah, and I can just help you out if there's some stuff you want to help with. I do not mind that at all. I said to Crusader that because I was it the Tuesday raid? I think it was the Tuesday raid where I felt like we did not have a raid leader, and I told
we didn't. Yes.
And but yesterday was good. Like it was completely different. Like you were actually present.
It was night and day.
Opinion. Yeah. And as I said to Crusader, if that's a thing where Eki doesn't want to raid lead, I do not mind stepping up and doing that for the guild. But
I was about to say like I feel like it's the other way around. Like if you want to raid lead, you can raid lead. And if you want help, I can help you.
Yeah.
Like I'm more comfortable with that.
Yeah. So.
If that's something you want to do.
In the future, if guys want to actually do it, then Eki can help out if he needs some help. I guess.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
But why don't you just put it up like in our guild? Like we're seeking potential new raid leader, potential officers, a potential
Yeah,
class
absolutely.
leads.
We
If
can
we're
do
going
that.
with that.
With an announcement that we're seeking for raid leaders and
I was
officers and such.
kind of people. If people wanted to be an officer, I kind of expected them to actually be here for the meeting.
Yeah, I mean,
we
it was short notice as well.
Yeah, posted it 2 hours before.
True.
I think it's fine to just post it and just
Yeah, sure.
sit for a few days, and then the current officers in the guild will just choose.
Yeah.
That's how we actually can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be like a big vote or anything for who we actually choose. It should just be you and Eke and Mubert just choosing. Because I guess they will expand to your ranks, so you'll be having small meetings with them outside of what we are part of.
Surely.
So I just think you should just leave that out there, let people come back to you if it's something they want, have a talk with them, and then take a decision when you feel like you've gotten enough information.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely a good option of how we actually do it.
Yeah.
All right. We are done with everything, with every topic. I've been recruiting fucking, I don't know, 2 hours now. Oh no, recording. Sorry, not recruiting. Recording this shit. I'm gonna, especially when it comes to the loot council, I'm fucking gonna listen to that. And it was a lot of people actually. For example, Dovron, he was busy tonight, so he wanted some kind of actually. He wanted to take a part, but he couldn't do it.
I actually just have one question. If people does think it's fun to contest in the world bosses?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, if I'm on, I don't mind going.
Surely we should still be in a collation. I think this collation is really good.
Except
that we're actually with Toxic. Ugh. But.
Yeah, but I think that's how it's gonna be. We can't really do it any other way.
We can't say anything about it.
No.
You really don't like Toxic.
I hate Toxic.
Fuck Toxic.
Fikamat.
I'm actually glad we had this conversation for over 2 hours in a very nice tone all the way.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, guys.
I just have one question, yeah?
Yes.
One question. So this whole, let's say you put someone on trial, what happens if they don't meet the criteria? But if they don't perform, do you kick them?
I
Do you
think
go
it
rank
should
them?
be member social.
I mean, I guess it depends on how poorly they perform, right?
That comes down to the officer, in my opinion. The officers will then decide that, right? Like, do you wanna, if they still wanna stay in the guild and you actually like them as persons, but they just
They're not good
don't
enough.
really fit in the raid, then. But I think that just comes down to the officers. They should decide that.
Extend their given time timer to get the meeting.
I would say that anyone that has the trial rank is trying out to come into the raider core.
Vänta, jag håller på att lyssna här, hjärtat.
That's what it should be
kommer
used
strax.
for, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
And if they don't meet the requirements to come into the raider core, then they should be, told that okay, you can join our member core and you can maybe join some raids if our core members cannot attend that day. But then it will, because that's my opinion on it.
And what happens if a guy that has the core rank starts slacking?
Then he should be demoted.
Yeah.
Or told anyway, like.
Be
what's
told
happening.
first, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Give him some.
Of course, yeah. It should be notified,
Definitely.
and maybe there's a good excuse for that, or whatever.
Yeah.
It should not
Definitely.
also be that because there is one time where someone is struggling, because there could be a lot of personal shit behind that.
Yeah.
So.
But it's
have a
more like
discussion,
slacking
have a
on
talk
like the
with guy.
basic things, basically just slacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
should
no
definitely be
more, no
transparent.
more coming 30 minutes late for Onyxia Grimmed.
That's gonna cost you a perdition blade.
Shit.
Guess. I have actually one topic right now.
Yeah.
It was about the loot. Because yesterday we gave the obsidian sword to
Clowny.
Clowny.
Yeah.
He was actually promised the BRE from the beginning.
Yep.
Because he was
Okay.
gonna rank to the rank 14.
I mean, I don't mind still. Like, we
the thing is,
still have that, right?
I didn't think he should be needing on that one yesterday. I think people should have that mindset. If I'm gonna have this, I should not get this one.
Well,
Obviously, won't get BRE if he took the sword. Like it's like if you get domination, you can't expect to have the next mage blade. At least in the beginning.
Yeah, I feel the same. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
if you accepted the sword, it said, "Yo, man, I want the sword." You can't get BRE. And like,
Unless no one
actually-
wanted it. Unless no one wanted it.
I'm not needing on the neck, on the
Yeah,
small.
no one needs BRE.
I just have a question, like who got
What
the
did you
eye
say? No one
yesterday?
needs BRE?
Alfie
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
bad.
So sorry, Raider.
Who got
What
the
is-
eye for
Alfie.
Hand of Ragnarok?
Alfie.
Alfie.
Oh, nice.
I think that was
Did
a really good
he-
choice, to be honest.
Does he have the mats to do it,
Oh.
to create it?
He's working for
He's working on them.
Yeah, okay.
And
That's
and the
nice.
guild will help him with the ingot and stuff jobs in general from MC, right?
I think
Yeah.
the only thing he has to provide with himself is the bars.
It could be
Pretty
really
much.
cool to have like a legendary in the guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Legendary Alfie
yeah,
in the game.
that's cool. I was just curious.
You're gonna be a legend, man.
Yeah, congrats with that.
Yeah. By the way, okay, I just throwing something out. I promise to God that right away, the first raid after Carp leaves, we get bindings.
Oh, that would be so
I fucking
nice.
hope so.
I was actually praying we wouldn't get bindings.
I actually got it the last pug I was in with my shaman.
Fuck that guy.
So guys, I have to go to the hospital tomorrow morning, so I will go to sleep.
Yeah,
See you later, man.
Good night, dude.
Good night.
See ya.
See you, dude.
Well, I guess we're
Yeah,
all
I'll be-
good to go then. I think it was a really good meeting. Had a
Yeah,
lot of
that was nice.
topics that we actually talked about, and it kind of feels like we are most of the people is kind of on the same page that wants to get the best as well, and how we can progress forward together.
There's already a difference in attitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
It'll be interesting to see what this raw poll is landing on.
I think we're
But
gonna
I-
change that star poll. I'm gonna listen to everything and do a clean star poll on everything. To be honest.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, everyone will still vote the same, I guess, but it's like.
I'm kind of the only reason why I don't want to do this soft reserve is because I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to sit and
Yeah,
type
well,
stuff
well,
You don't
like,
really
be
have to
honest,
type
that's
anything.
something I can actually put a lot of work in. I don't mind that.
Like you actually,
don't-
you just have to type to your class leader pretty
Yeah, I
much,
really-
and then you
I
type
really just
or
want it fair for
any of the
everyone
officers.
when it comes to loot council. That's the most important
Yeah.
thing about it all.
I think we're gonna have to discuss this another time as well with the people who weren't here
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
definitely. Yeah,
explain it better.
To explain if they need like just type it in the thing maybe that they can type to some people that were here that can explain how.
Yeah, at least I open Atlas Loot every 5 seconds and look at the match plate if it was in my backpack.
Well, Gucci, I will cancel this video now.